What's going on, you tacos? And welcome to Scrumptious Games. And I have an old school gameplay commentary. I think I went 34 and 4 on Infection. And today we're gonna be talking about when I jumped a mother trucker.
We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky, little Einstein.
All right, disclaimer alert. I didn't actually jump this guy, but it was pretty much a jumping back in my first grade years, and I just remember so many details of this story because it was such a crazy event in my life, and I remember everything to a pinpoint. Okay, let's see. Where do I begin? Okay, so I used to rule my school with absolute authority. No, I'm just kidding. So what ended up happening was, it's weird because I used to be like kind of like a classroom leader back in the day. I don't know how because I barely spoke English. I just learned it all on Sesame Street. But yeah, I was kind of like the classroom leader. I had my group of friends, and I just happened to be the leader. And I also had this cute little Japanese girl as my girlfriend. I don't know if we were dating. It was just we kind of had a thing going on, and her name was Haruka. And so she had her group of friends, and I had my group of friends. But what ended up happening was I just remember this one lunch day. We just found out the girls had cooties. And so we would all just run around like, "Oh my god, girls! You guys have cooties! Get away!" And then we would just that's how we spent our lunchtime. We'd run away from the girls, and the girls would try to like poke us because we'd be freaking out, and they thought it was funny. I don't know if they still play like that back in elementary school, but that's how I played at least. And what they would do is you could actually borrow sports equipment like balls and jump ropes and all that during lunchtime as long as you put like your teacher in and all that, and then you could get it from the shack. And so what ended up happening is the girls would borrow jump ropes, and whichever guy got caught running away from the girls, we'd get like whoever did. One time I got caught, and then so they would tie the guy up, and they would tie him up with the jump rope to a tree, and they would just spin in a circle, or not really spin in a circle, but they'd go in a circle, and they'd start touching you, and then you'd be like, "Let me go! You can't do this to me!" It's just hella dramatic shit back then. Thinking about it, that's actually pretty gross, because it's almost like a fetish kind of thing. It's like BDSM or whatever you call that, like some Freddie Gray shit. Is it Freddie Gray from like 50 Shades of Grey? And so they would do that, and that's just how our lunchtime activities went. And I remember we'd run away from the girls, but we liked it. I can agree back in the day. We just didn't mentally know, but I'm pretty sure we liked it because we'd be like, "Oh my god, you can't catch me," and we'd run away, and then we'd wait for them to come closer. I guess we liked the thrill. But what ended up happening was this one day during lunchtime, we were playing the cooties or tag, whatever you call it, and then I was just kind of running away, and then like I was looking around, and I'm just like, "Where is my bae Haruka? I cannot find her. Where is my princess?" And I was just kind of like, it was getting real serious because where is my girl? She's supposed to poke me. And so I ended up asking my friend, and he was like, you dude, I don't know. And then like a couple minutes went by, and then we just run around the school, and then he suddenly ran up to me, and he's like, "Yo, your girl Haruka, she's crying behind the portables." And I was like, "Oh shit, what's wrong?" And I ran there. I just got on my horse. I went, and I rolled in. I said, "Hey, Bebe, what's wrong?" And she was just crying there. And I remember her telling me, she's like, "This guy, like, he came up to me and he bullied me and he touched me, blah, blah, blah." And something went on. And I was just like, "What the beep? How dare someone touch my princess?" And then she was just like telling me his name and then what ended up happening. I don't remember exactly what happened, what she told me. But I just remember I said, "I'm going to beat this mother trucker up." And then so I grabbed my group of friends, and we got in a circle, and we had almost like a war meeting. I'm like, "Yo, I don't remember his name, but we'll just call him Daniel, okay?" And I was like, "Yo, any of y'all know who Daniel is?" And then this one guy was like, "Yeah, I know him. He's a third grader." And And then we were kind of scared. We're like, oh shit, third grader, dude. But I was like, dude, it's okay. There's 5 of us or however many we had at the time, and we could take him on. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. And I remember, I was like, yeah, we're gonna look for him, and we just ran around, just waiting and looking around for him. And I remember my friend said, hey, that's Daniel. And then we all just looked. And I remember I watched hella Power Rangers back then, so I was real dramatic with this whole fighting scene. And I was just like, ah, ja! And I just got hella ready, and I was trying to get myself pumped up. And then you know how like they like transform and all that, and I just went into rage mode, and I was just like, yeah! And then I just ran up to him, and I'm just sprinting there with my friends. And I remember he looked so tiny from far away, and as I'm running, every step I take, I get closer and closer. And this guy just keeps getting taller and taller. And I remember I was 5 steps away from him, and this guy was twice my size, and twice my size, and I was just like, God damn. And then we just circled him, and I was so scared. And then we were talking about something, and then we had like an argument. And I was yelling at him, and we're like, yeah! And then you touched my girl, blah blah blah. And I remember he made the first move. He's like, get away from me. And he kind of did like a 360 Superman punch. And then I was like, oh, shit. Oh. And I backed up. And then we're all just like really scared. But I was like, dude, we got to do this. And then so I made like the first move. Well, the first move for my group. And I remember I went like a kick, but it never reached him. And he backed up. And all he did was the whole time, it was like maybe it happened within like a minute. And then all he did was he would do like a stomp. And we'd be like, oh, goddamn, this Gollum, man. And then we'd be hella scared, and we'd back up, and then we'd be like really careful, and then we'd be like, yeah. And then we pushed up, and then I remember I kicked him in the arm slightly. And then he was just so dramatic, and then he just went, I hit him in the arm, and he just, like he got shot, okay, or something. And he goes, and I remember he was like on the ground, and he looked up, and he just looked at us, and I was like, oh shit, okay, we really fucked up now, goddamn. And then he just went into rage mode, and I remember him yelling too, and I was like, oh fuck. And he goes, ah! And he just started doing like 360 Superman punches, okay? And then we're just like, oh my God. And then he's just like, ah! And we're like backing up. And then God just saved us. I'm pretty sure we could have died. But what ended up happening was suddenly a door opened up because we were near a building. And a door opened up, and it just happened to be the staff lounge. And the staff lounge door opened up, hit one of my friends. And my friend kind of like bumped into and then the teacher was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And then she realized what was kind of happening because she like heard everything, and she's like, what's going on? And then I remember we were just like, oh shit. And like everyone was quiet. It was just intense. All you could hear was the kids just laughing and playing in the back, and we're just like, and it was just quiet. And then I just remember me and my friend thinking really fast. And then I just started crying. I don't know if it was a legit cry, but I just remember I started crying, and I was just like, and the teacher's like, just like, what the fuck? Okay, because she sees the 3rd grader and 5 little 1st graders, or however many we were at the time, just in a circle. And then she was just like, okay, what's going on? And then I just remember saying, I was like, this guy, he just randomly came up to us, and he started bullying me, and my friends are helping me fight him off. And then my other friend was like, yeah, he kicked me in the arm, and he started bullying us, and he wanted to punch us. And then we're just giving like her like a crazy ass explanation. And the funniest thing is she actually believed us. And what ended up happening was she grabbed him by the shoulder, and then she just took him. She's like, okay, oh, she said something and whispered to him and took him to the office. And he actually ended up getting suspended for getting in a fight. And then nothing happened to us. We just got checked out by the nurse. We were all clear to go. And I remember stepping out of the nurse's office. I was like, shit, we're some badass mother truckers, man. And so, yeah. And so that's honestly my story of how I jumped the guy. Nothing really happened, but I mean, we won. And so I just remember we were just so happy. I felt like we won a war or something, like from Power Rangers. But yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, anyways, that was the end of my commentary. If you guys enjoyed the story, please subscribe for more weekly videos. I think that's about it, and we'll see you guys later on Scrumptious Games. Ah,